We come to this now with a special investigating units tribunal established by President Cyril Ramaphosa to recover money looted from the state is expected to hear its first case today, while the unit has brought an urgent preservation order application against former head of the office of the state attorney, that's Jose Lejabe. They want his pension to be frozen, this until allegations against him are finalized. Lejabe is accused of financial irregularities and he has since resigned from his position. ENC's Aaron Bates is following that story for us and joins us now just to give us an update. And good afternoon to you, Aaron. Just take us through perhaps some of those sentiments that have been coming out from the tribunal today.
Well, afternoon to you too. I'm afraid it's been a rather lackluster start to this special tribunal here, sitting in the Boyson's Magistrate Court, Court 6 in fact. Proceedings were delayed by some 2.5 hours. We were set to begin at 10 o'clock this morning, and then over in a matter of minutes, proceedings have been postponed until 2 o'clock. The president of the special tribunal, who's assisted by 7 other judges around the country, this after their appointment by President Cyril Ramaphosa in February of last year, has postponed proceedings, and that's to allow for counsel for Lejabe, the former head of the Office of the State Attorney in Johannesburg, to consult with his client. Client not here today, but nearby, we understand, at an office in the vicinity, and there are said to be ongoing consultations until proceedings resume and hopefully get underway properly at 2 o'clock.
And just because of course the case has been postponed there, Aaron, let's just get clarity and I suppose context with Lejabe, who seems to be quite central to this tribunal. We understand that his pensions are to be frozen, or at least they want his pensions to be frozen until allegations against him are finalized. Why is he so central to this case?
Yes, well, we have been trying to get to the bottom of that, for example, seeking the heads of argument in this matter. But you're quite right. What's at play here, or should be at play this afternoon from 2 o'clock, is a fairly narrow issue around Lejabe's pension fund. And the state authorities here, the likes of the SIU, the Minister of Police and the Minister of Justice, are seeking to freeze his pension funds pending further investigations to allegations of fraud and corruption relating to his time at the Office of the State Attorney. Now, important to note that the Minister of Justice said in Parliament last year that the state of the Office of the State Attorney nationally and more broadly speaking was absolutely dire, dire being the exact word of Minister of Justice Ronald Lamola. And so this is one of the case studies of state corruption, the misappropriation of government funds. This special tribunal has been established to investigate, to probe and to prosecute against. It is a civil court. It falls in fact under the Department of Justice and not under the SIU, although it has been framed as being linked to the SIU. And the reason for that is because a lot of the investigations that feed into the cases, Makanya, the president of the tribunal, will hear, come from the SIU. So rather than presiding over matters here, the SIU is the funnel of investigations and claims which are then set to be heard in the special tribunal.
Of course, indeed, as you mentioned before, that particular case has been postponed now, but can we expect then to hear those comments and statements, including testimonies, when it starts to officiate?
Well, there are no witnesses here today, so it will be a fairly procedural hearing once 2 o'clock hits the clock and things get underway once more. We do have an advocate here for the state parties, the SIU, Minister of Justice and Minister of Police, and then counsel for Lejabe. I must say there were also some additional lawyers sitting on the benches during the minutes of proceedings we had just before 1 o'clock, and some grievances, in fact, from a senior, it seems, from the Black Lawyers Association around the citing of a 34 million rand figure. In the statement from the SIU, for example, that figure is listed as being related to a number of different claims. But this lawyer, who wouldn't go on the record, saying that that in fact relates to a singular complaint. So Lejabe and the Office of the State Attorney have a number of different allegations against them, and the finer details of those have yet to be ventilated at the special tribunal.
All right, Aaron Bates, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much.